see, Steve.
Shake that.
Let me see it. Do it. Quick, let me see it. Do it. You got a fist play. Hold that. All right, y'all. Now it's kind of getting a little chilly right here. Now, won't you find some?
I do represent the University of Alabama. Come on, roll tide. And so when I come to places like this, man, I don't know if you got that song. I'm about to have to wing it real quick, but we got that one. It's that Sweet Home. I got to give them a chance to sing real quick. But like when I come, like we got in a couple of hours, we're going to find out. I know it's not important to most people, but if you're from Alabama, we got a couple of hours till they announce the Crimson Tide in the championship game. I'm sorry I had to go there. Come on. I'm going to let them sing it one time, Bird. You ready? You better sing it loud. You ready? Here we go.
Oh, y'all ain't chilling. Y'all know this song.
You gotta sing it.
You out here in the country.
I see you in the back. Sing it loud. Here we go. That's it. I see you back there. Y'all put it up for Alabama. Come on. Well, I just want to say this, man. I just got one simple thing I want to say. It is Christmas season, and it is Crimson Tide season, but that's not the reason I want to come up here. I'm just joking, playing around with you guys. I just want to say this, man. For anybody that's standing out here tonight, I can tell you this. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever situation you might be in, maybe you've been at the lowest place of your life, or maybe right now, man, you feel like you're dry. Maybe you just need something to wake you up. I just tell you this. I can remember years ago, I sat in a hospital bed. And I just got back from spring break. I was with my best friends, man, my senior year of high school. And I was actually my sophomore year in college. I'm sorry. And I just got back from spring break. I was with my best friends. And it was the last night we were at spring break. And to be honest with you, man, I was living for something that wasn't going to make a difference. I was living for something that was going to pass away years later. And I end up in this hospital bed. It's my last night. I had to be rushed back to UAB Hospital in downtown Birmingham. And I end up in this room. And my mom comes in this hospital room, and she comes and looks at me, and I was so disappointed because my mom, she's such a woman of God. She always was there for me. She always lived for God, always had me in church. And I felt so bad, and I felt so down on myself that I disappointed her. And she walks in this room, and I'll never forget this day. She looked me in the eyes. She came in the room, and she asked me, she says, "Baby, are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I'm all right, Mom." And the doctors had just told her that I actually got an alcohol poisoning. I had consumed so much alcohol in a week span that I got alcohol poisoning in my intestines. And the alcohol had begun to eat in the inner lining of my intestines. And she said, "You okay?" I said, "I think I'm all right." She said, "Are you sure you're okay?" And I said, "Yeah, Mom, I think I'm fine." And at this point, how many of y'all ever had one of them butt whoopings with like a cord? Y'all know what I'm talking about? I had IVs in me. I thought she was going to whoop me right on the spot, man. I was so scared. And she looked at me and she just said these simple words. She looked at me and she said, "I'm so glad you're all right." And she shut up. And I don't know what it was about that.
Second chances, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you've done. Tonight I'm here to give you hope. If he can use me, he can use anybody. If he can use me to do anything, he can use you to change the world. I promise you. I was a drug addict, had nothing good to offer God. Like Zig was saying, I just made some choices to get around the wrong people when I was growing up. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life, so people around me convinced me of stuff I never wanted to do. Like, I just didn't know. So they convinced me of stuff. Drug addict, made the wrong decisions. I'm hooked on Oxycontin, hooked on cocaine, playing basketball at the time. My life was just, I never could figure this whole thing out. Like, life never made sense to me. I was always wondering, there's got to be more to life. I was just empty inside. I couldn't feel the void in my heart. I couldn't fill it with nothing. I tried everything. It just never worked. Until one night I went to this thing called the basement. You might have heard my story, but tonight I'm here to tell somebody. It don't matter what you've done, don't matter what you've been through, it don't matter what your life looks like tonight, what you walked in these gates with. He can change it. He can use you. I walk down these steps, man, I'm a drug addict. I have nothing good to offer God. I'm messed up. Drugs in my pocket. But I got down those steps, and it's like God just became so real to me. I grew up in church. I went and sang the songs, but I never knew how real he was. I never knew he wanted a relationship with me. I never knew he wanted to use me. I didn't know he was real like that. I thought it was just something I do on the weekends and I go and live my life. I hit my knees that night. It was like God spoke to my heart. He said, "Casey," he said, "there's a heaven and there's a hell. Which one are you going to choose?" And that night it hit me. I hit my knees. Didn't know how to pray, never really prayed before. Didn't know how to worship, never really worshiped before. But I just hit my knees and I said, Jesus, if you're real, if you're alive, if you can somehow save me, clean me up, I'll serve you till the day I die. Can I tell you what happened? Not only did he save me, he delivered me, set me free from a drug addiction. And one night, my life's never been the same since. You can hold that, Ike. Here's what I want to say to you tonight. Here's the good news. God will give you a second chance no matter what you've been through. Like, I always thought my whole life God was mad at me. That he was mad at the choices I was making and the mistakes I was. I thought he was this big old guy with a long white beard and he was like ready to spank me whenever I messed up. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I thought he was. But no, he looks at you and he just loves you. He just wants you. He has the best for your life. He just wants you to live it. You know why I love the Bible? It's because all through the Bible you can find out where God uses people that are messed up and he gives them a second chance and they change the world. He doesn't use any perfect people. He uses messed up people and they change the world. I'll give you examples. Moses. Moses was a murderer. Murdered a man. He even had a stuttering problem. Couldn't even speak good in public. Leads 2 million people out of slavery and captivity. That's a murderer. David, a murderer, also committed adultery. Ends up being one of the greatest kings we ever talked about. Esther, she was a basic slave girl. Ends up saving an entire Jewish nation. Jonah didn't even want to have nothing to do with God. Just completely turned his back and ran from God. He gets swallowed up by a fish and leads one of the greatest Old Testament revivals ever recorded. Paul was killing Christians. Just killing them. Man, that dude's messed up, you know what I'm saying? I don't know about y'all, but I ain't just walking around killing Christians, you know? Paul was. But he had this encounter with God. One night. Changed his life forever. Never been the same since. Ends up writing 2/3 of the New Testament. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Ends up changing the world. God ain't looking at your mistakes. He ain't looking at your ability and what all you can and can't do. He wants your availability. He just wants to use you. No matter what it's been like, no matter what your life is like now. He's got a plan for you and a purpose. And when you find that out, you'll never be the same. I always say, the greatest tragedy on earth is somebody that walks around with no purpose. I did that for 20 years of my life. I just walked around with no purpose, with nothing really leading me. I didn't know what I was meant to do in life. I didn't know what this whole thing was about. I didn't know God had a plan for me to change people. I didn't know. So I walked around miserable. That's why we have statistics the way we do. That's why drug addiction is worse than it's ever been. That's why suicide is worse than it's ever been. Because people don't know God has a plan for them. John 4:34, one of my favorite verses is this as I wrap up. It says, only those who do the will of the Father, only those who do what God's called them to do will ever truly be satisfied. I tell you this tonight. I try to fill my heart with all kinds of things. That void I had in my heart with drugs, relationships, with sports, you name it. Never satisfied me. I couldn't find it. Until one night I had an encounter with Jesus. One night I gave my life to God and He used me. And I found out my plan and my purpose that He had for me. My life's never been the same. So tonight I just want to pray for you real quick.
You can take these lights down. This is your minute. If the King's home is then you got to know the King's heart. This is His heart. He loves worship. He loves prayer. You can move them a little slow. Here we go. You ready? He wasn't embarrassed to you. Don't be embarrassed to Him. Look at that. Come on. Here we go. Put your hands and here we go. Father, we worship You right here, right now. Yeah, yeah. The King will come. That's what I want you to know right now. The King has a home that's in your heart. Your heart shows Him who's King. Worship, prayer, gets His attention. Here you go, God. Yeah, yeah.
been people giving their heart. There was a night a long time ago, many of you know this, and he was born. 2,000 years later, there's just been this holy night. So much so that if he would not have come, you wouldn't have the life you do, and you wouldn't have the home to go to. This world can offer you a whole lot, but knowing you're going to heaven, man, it gives you peace.